Welcome back to Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Part 2. Today we are going to try to escape. Last time we turned the mind control machine off. The game was basically done in 10 minutes. Turned it on. Almost same thing, different ending. But today, as I said in the last video, we will try to escape. Take the escape route and see what's happening. Alright? Let's jump right in. Alright, so, I've been recording for an hour. I've even been looking at the screen in OBS, and I didn't realize that I have been recording for an hour, but only recording my face. So I have to do it again. Yeah. So, let's do this again. Beginner mistakes, I know. What can we do? Here's what it is.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Okay, we know that. If you've watched the recent video, if not, you should. We know what's happening here.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Right, let's skip to the actual part of choosing the way of escape. Okay, cool.
This is the story. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Let's leave the
Stanley decided to
subtitle
go
on.
to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Let's see what happens if I actually
Yet
type in
there
the
was not a
code
single person here
before it's even
either.
telling me to do so.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might come into a staircase.
Actually, I don't want the subtitles.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Because we know the code already.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
At least you get to see that as well.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Yeah. Alright, we go down. Alright, we're there.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
That's what we did last time, right? But now we're taking the escape route. To
Although this passageway
escape
had
the game.
Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
First time I was standing here for like a whole minute. Thinking about never the end is never the end. Oh. Ouch.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this
So I still
vile
can't
end
jump.
to his brief and shallow life.
I even got a achievement for trying to jump, but of course I can't.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Yeah.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
So these are the people who make a great game. So props to all these people here. Making such a hilarious game. I've been even walking through here for like almost 20 minutes. So this is literally showing certain states of the game while developing it. Things that didn't make it into the game. Certain props and all that things. So yeah. Outtakes or unused dialogues down there. The narrator. But we're gonna skip that part now.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Right.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
They do.
No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let...
That's what we're gonna do. Right?
All of his co-workers were gone.
It's almost the same thing happens
Stanley decided to go to the meeting
if
room.
we get
Perhaps
crushed.
he had simply missed a memo.
Right, so now what we're gonna do...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So... if you don't quit the game actually sets you back here as well. That's basically what happens. But we're going to progress now. Because the escape route is not an actual escape route. But what I have found...
This
While
was
playing
not the
this
correct way to the meeting room,
for
and
a
Stanley
while-
knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I also found an elevator.
Yes, truly a room
Oh.
worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
So what I also found is near the office of the boss room, I found an elevator that led to nowhere. Go up and down, but it just kept going and going and going. When you press the button again, just straight up, the door straight up opens. So the elevator's literally not even moving. So they're just running with the elevator as well.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
And I also fell down there. And I died.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this
Oh, look at
time.
that! There's another way
There's
there.
someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
We could even go that way, maybe.
Stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now,
Can
I'm
we?
not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another,
So what we
pick
can
up the
do,
phone.
you can unplug the thing, which I did in the first time instead of picking the call. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna take the call, see what happens. After that, we're gonna unplug and get almost to the point where I was before. So let's take the phone. See what happens. I don't know what's happening. Where the hell are we now?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
What? The things you can always not do what he's telling you. You can literally...
Sorry, but you're in my
Oh.
story now.
Oh shit, okay.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
No. I'm not pressing it. Let's see. Maybe something happens if I don't press it. If I'm disobedient to the narrative. I guess I have to. Right.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
TV?
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Game with a baby?
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Okay. Anything gonna happen if I don't press it now? He knows I have to press the button. Just making the point, I guess.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Question nothing.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
I clicked the left mouse, but it's not gonna do anything. Okay. Alright. Answer the phone.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content? Huh? Alright, let's go in there.
Oh, new content? What does that mean?
I haven't seen that actually.
Content.
That's new to me as well. Okay, let's do that. Alright. Because I haven't picked up the phone before. I just unplugged the thing. So something else happened, but now...
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures adventures await in The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe
there?
content.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
They are trolling. Oh, they are trolling again.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Am I? Oh. Yeah. Facing the wrong direction.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Oh, this is where I can jump. Are you sure? No way. This is the weird thing about this game. I actually want to know what happens when you use all your 35 left jumps, remaining jumps. But I also want to see what happens if you can keep them and use them later on. Oh, okay. You can only jump here.
Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Alright. Been jumping 36 times.
Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm ready for whatever it is.
How does he not know what's going on? If I'm enjoying the new content.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and
Looking at you,
intend to
EA
freeze people on
and
Twitter and hold
Activision.
them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me,
Or
why don't we
Bungie.
just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Seem to have an option, okay. Oh, it's different. What's happening here? Okay.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
Okay.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Looks like Oblivion.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
First. Trip down memory lane. 2014, yeah. Oh, 20. Oh. That his wife? Okay. I actually never played the 2013 game. I should probably play that as well. Little Stanley.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Original what? Remake. It's probably one of the devs. Running back now.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories. These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them. Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to
German.
feel as light and
Nudelscharf.
airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What
Some
an
people just
awful
don't
memory to
understand
have to
games.
hold on to. These black marks are my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. That the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say... the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. That the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say... the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until...
I think it's repeating now. Okay.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise. Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing...
Yeah, I actually haven't expected the game to go in such a long, different direction when answering the call. Because it's the same thing if you don't answer the call, if you unplug the thing. It goes in the other direction. I really like this about this game. I actually really can't believe I haven't played this before. I've seen it, I found it super interesting. But I never really got to play it because I also rarely have time to actually play in peace and no focus on just the game. But yeah, I'm really impressed with the game.
Are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your Greek gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've
How do you
ever
like my
made
Rick and Morty
in fact
shirt?
make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very
Another
opposite?
one.
You see, it could in fact be both of these things at once. That you are both making choices and not making choices, and that they are both affecting you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not making them. Okay, at first, I was leaning towards manifesto, but now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it. But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much... Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works. Perhaps that would have been the smart thing to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review, merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30,
There's not even a door
45
anymore.
minutes. It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't there? I swear there was. Where did it go? Can you maybe just ram your way through a wall? Is there any possibility that you could, say, slam your body into the wall until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave? Please, I'll take any option at all. I'm asking you to work with me here. We need a door. We need a door of some kind. I can work with any kind of door as long as it can open and lead from one room to another. I'm going to step away for just a moment, and I'm going to try to find us a door. I don't know how exactly to remove a door and place it in a different wall, but I will find a way.
You do?
Promise. You just need to not do anything. Don't press the skip button. Please, please, please do not press the skip button. Just wait here for me, and don't press the skip button. Got it? Yes, good. I'll be right back.
Oh, he's gonna let me wait for 2 minutes. But I think that's a good time. I think that's a good time for a small word of our today's sponsor. There is no sponsor. Small channel. There is no sponsor. It's a small channel. Yeah. I might have got you there. Alright, let's continue. Let's see. Have you found a door, mate? Where is the door? Please show me the door. Hello? I'm sticking. He wants me to press it. Or not. Let's press it.
Stanley! Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer. And my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times. And there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here, and more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. I can't control anything in this room, Stanley. I can't touch it, and I
have the tables turned.
Sooner or later, no matter how much I plead with you, you're going to press the button again. Why would...
Yeah.
Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks.
Oh, shit.
I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking? But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley. Not the outcomes, not the story. None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up. Yeah. I'll give up every branching path. I'll burn my story to the ground. One single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in. These words that I'm saying, I need to know you can hear me. Because maybe, Stanley, maybe, if you can hear me, then maybe it means I'm real. Maybe I'm not just a fiction. Was I scared of that all along? Perhaps, yes. Perhaps I've been scared this whole time, that if I stop speaking, I'll slip backwards into the silence and be consumed by it. I can't be taken by it, Stanley. I can't lose myself in the stretch of emptiness between you and me. When you press that button, you're still right there, but I know you're so tremendously far away. And in those moments, the emptiness folds itself outward in between the two of us, and I am suspended in its unyielding quietness. I can feel the edges of my reality curdling inward and decaying. I can tell that I am becoming less and less real. Yet to speak to you now, I am alive. I am truly and completely here. I am a being. I am someone. I am something. I am being listened to. I am being recognized. The emptiness between us has collapsed, and I feel right now like I am not a work of fiction.
I feel as though I occupy space in this world again, and I have cast a shadow onto the wall. You see what I'm saying, don't you? You can see what this means to me. I'm so clear
Yeah,
about
but
it now, Stanley.
I'm still
I
going
feel
to
as
press the
certain about
button.
this as I've ever felt about anything.
Let's see what happens now. Oh shit, it's really dark.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time.
Where's the
I
light
stopped
coming
keeping
from?
track after a year. Have you ever sat down
After a
in one place and
year?
not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously.
Does he want me to skip?
I was consumed by it. I could do
He
nothing
keeps
but wallow in it
rambling.
for what felt like an eternity, for what I now know
Ranting
was far
about
less.
things.
You see, it was a revelation for me. It was unlike anything I had ever known. It was a space without consequence, without action or outcome. It was divorced entirely from the question of free will that you and I have squabbled over for so long. There could be no one ending, no singular outcome of events, not if all events existed in the
So
same
if I skip
moment.
again,
And I felt
it's just
free.
been a year.
I felt
How much time
unburdened
is
by
going
the
to
need
pass?
to manifest a particular outcome
Are we
into
gonna
being.
break the game?
I
Break?
saw that I could allow
game?
myself to exist along all timelines, and that each of them was simply a strand in the web of my being. It was incredible. The spaciousness, the equanimity of the moment, both singular and infinite. For the longest time, this was my experience. And then, this moment passed, and the most unyielding fear I have ever known crept into my mind. And it is this sensation that I have been experiencing now for longer than I could have ever expected was possible. I have been waiting for you. Not that you might save me or do something to fix it, but merely to state for you the plain fact of this manner of existence. I wish you to feel afraid as I do, that perhaps one day this state of mind will consume you.
Let's skip. It could be very boring if you're just watching this. So skip ahead. Is there nothing happening now? Oh. Hello, narrator. Are you there? Uh-oh. Dead. How long has it been? Oh no. Oh shit. This is really loud.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was that we are a people living in such bleakness and discomfort with ourselves that our entertainment is now our lives. It has come to represent.
Tony, why was he talking the last time? Like in the middle of a conversation, and now nothing is happening. Okay, let's try to press it until something is.
Is never the end. 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 Is never the end.
It's referring to one of these.
Is never the end, is never the end.
That's what it says when the game is loading. Oh shit, water. Uh-oh. Okay. We're making ourselves a way out. Somehow? Let's see. Uh-huh. Yeah, we're getting closer. Collapsing. Uh-oh, I'm stuck. Alright, see what happens now. Oh shit. How much time has passed? Jesus Christ. Yeah, we're having dinosaurs. Okay. Okay, now it's turning creepy now. Alright. What are these weird noises? Uh-oh. Oh. Okay. Alright. I think we... The fuck? We're in the desert? Alright, let's see what happens if we just keep walking. Narrator, hello? Are you there? The end is never the end. There it is. Hey. Well.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
That was
Stanley
interesting.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content. We go in there now.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Alright, okay, let's do that. Let's see what changes. There's no way I'm gonna fit all of this in one video, so we'll probably make a... We'll probably call this the new content or answered phone part.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further.
Okay.
Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Investor showcase.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Yeah, that's usually how companies do it, right? They could have literally done that, call it Stanley Parable 2, call it a new game, but it's actually
Calling it
not.
the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Like Bungie has done it with Destiny 1 and 2. It's literally the same game almost, just continues the story. They call it 2. Even though it's basically an add-on. Way too overpriced add-on. Oh.
Let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Portal 2, Half-Life 2, Batman Arkham Asylum, Infinity, Doom 2, Dark Souls.
Here we are. Go on. Try out
Jesus.
some of the new features.
Yeah, that's definitely not true. That's not gonna work. Let's see.
My first addition to the game is this button, which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Stanley. I'm sure he's gonna say Stanley because technically he is playing the game.
Jim. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
Oh yeah.
Are you really, truly Jim right now?
Mm-hmm.
If so, then please step forward and press the button. Jim. Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again. Do it again. Jim. Ooh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation. Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much, Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are. Jim.
Right, what else have we got?
I
Assurance.
suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Jump cycle. I don't know where to go first. Go here first. Next. More screenshots.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
This game is getting so weird at some point.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
Easy achievement here. Alright. Pull the lever, receive your new achievement. No more steps. What
Now,
lever?
here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the
Not a
world
wizard.
who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen. What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Jump cycle. Oh, I actually have 0 jumps left.
Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle.
Yeah.
Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
I knew I should have kept some. Collectible. Can you find them? Can you find them? Can you find them? Jesus Christ.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic
What the
joy of
fuck
watching
is
a number
that?
go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Wait, what? Is that it? Not go any further.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Let's go to the reassurance bucket, whatever that is. Infinite hole. I also want to see the infinite hole. But oh, is that a Portal reference?
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort.
I'm sure that's referring to a game as well, but I'm not sure which one it is.
Sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
See how long I can
Does
carry it.
anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Where's the infinite hole? Oh, there it is. Ah, this bucket is so... I definitely feel reassured. Yeah, very good.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
Yeah, but I first want to fall a bit.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer,
Right.
but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things. Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it
Okay.
a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, Good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
But have we really agreed on that? But let's get an achievement for actually falling all the way down. All right.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas. Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much.
Yes, I
Said,
do.
yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so much more to show you and to talk about, and I've had enough of the hole for a lifetime. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow, okay, yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is.
Oh,
the shame
no.
of my lie has come to haunt me. Not how is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone.
But it's not a
You get to be
hole.
in the hole. I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I
Yo.
hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Okay. Yes, I'm still pressing the button. Ah. Not. If I had a jump left. Oh god, this is gonna take forever. Okay, if this takes more than 2 minutes or a minute, I will skip to the end. So you don't have to watch me going down a hole that is almost infinite long. Stanley! Perception? This looks like a DreamWorks character.
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley!
Yeah.
Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many
You like
years
torturing,
here in
huh?
this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
Ah, mod.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Alright, let's continue with I imagine I'm going back in the hole.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you
Show me.
the Stanley Parable 2.
Cool. Yeah, great.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
That's even
I'm
worse.
kidding, Stanley. This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. Wait. Maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Oh my god. This is so hilarious. Anything that's okay.
This is the story.
Okay, I guess that was it. That was the the balloons. Okay, it's still different.
Gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to
I
go
like
to
that.
the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, guys, let's wrap this up here. That was the phone answered path ending, whatever you want to call it. Next time we're gonna unplug the phone, as I mentioned earlier. We're gonna do that in a different video. So yeah, if you like the video, just hit the thumbs up there, subscribe if you like watching such things. Anyway, if you sticked around for this long, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for sticking with me to this. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next one when we are going to unplug the phone. Alright, so then, see you. Peace out. I'll meet you in the next one. 9. Subscribe to my channel.